私のアトリエへようこそ。
Atelier is one of my favorite RPG series. Not only are the games always beautiful, but they are fun, addictive, and both relaxing and exciting at the same time. This series is really endearing and unique, and it's hard not to love the Atelier games. However, as much as I love the newest entries in the series, such as Sophie and Riza, I must admit that I really miss the charm and simplicity of the first games, especially those on PS3. I'm not super familiar with the older Atelier games that were released on PS1 and PS2 as I never played them, so when I heard that Atelier Marie was being remade, I was really happy to finally be able to play it on my PS4 without having to dig out a copy of the original. Atelier Marie was first released on PS1 in 1997, but only in Japan, so it was never officially released in English, although it was also re-released on PS2, but still only in Japan. So this is the first time it is available here, and it was completely remade with updated graphics and gameplay to make things even better. As soon as I started the game, I immediately felt a sense of familiarity, a reassuring feeling that I was finally back home. I had really missed the PS3 Atelier games of old times, and Marie took me right back in. She is a humble, relatable, aspiring alchemist, and she oozes with sweetness, something that was starting to be missing from the more recent Atelier games. Marie is just a simple girl, and she just wants to make people happy while discovering the world around her. Atelier Marie is not some big, grand RPG adventure like the more recent games. It's back to the series' roots. It's just a modest, endearing, and heartwarming tale of Marie, an alchemist-to-be, who enrolls to become a full-fledged alchemist. She has 5 years to complete the assignments, all that while running her very own atelier. Just like other atelier characters' cliché, Marie is quite clumsy, so you'll need to help her become a better alchemist. It's easy to tell this was the very first Atelier game, as you'll immediately notice how simple and carefree it is, without all the fancy and epic adventuring of the recent games. Things start slowly, with you taking on some simple requests at the inn, visiting your friends at the shop and academy, and just looking around for ingredients. It's really just the basics of the series, and personally I really loved it, as I found it comforting and relaxing. The game at times even feels a bit aimless, as you are free to do as you please. Being used to games holding your hand and telling you what to do and where to go, I felt a little bit lost at first. But soon I found things to do and kept myself busy with exploring surrounding areas, battling enemies, creating items, and completing requests. The time limit is back in the game, so you will need to complete the Academy's assignments in time, but I found it extremely easy and completed all of them without even trying. The game even allows you to play without the time limit if you prefer, so needless to say, it's really accessible for anyone. At times I could feel the game is built on an old game design, so not everyone will like it, and I missed some of the more modern upgrades in the series, but overall, if you like the more old school and traditional Atelier games, it's fun to see how the series started and what inspired the other entries. There are a lot of things that feel familiar, like how you can recruit party members to accompany you outside the city, and you'll recognize some classic Atelier characters and landmarks, as well as the humor and charm the series is known for. There is no right or wrong way to play the game, which is something I really enjoyed about it. Even with the time limit, I felt free to wander around as I pleased, without any pressure to do anything specific. I spent a lot of time exploring the different areas around the map, picking up ingredients and battling enemies. The battles are extremely basic as far as turn-based go, but they are fun if you like simplicity, and they never drag out. They felt more like an added bonus to break up the exploration, which can get a little bit monotonous by the end of the game. There are very few areas to explore, and they are very small. I was really hoping the world map would expand at some point, but no, you'll have seen all that there is to see within a few hours into the game. There are also very few bosses, most of them just being optional. The battles are rather easy also, so it's really not a challenging game at all. The alchemy is also very basic. There isn't anything special to do like in the other games, you simply mix the ingredients and that's it. Although the game is extremely simple, I still enjoyed it a lot and it's still a very cozy and charming game thanks to the cute characters. You can also unlock events as the months go by, and some can be missed, so it's hard to get all of them in one go. Although the game is fairly short and can be completed under 10 hours, it's the kind of game you'll want to run through again to see everything, as the coziness of the game is somehow addictive. When I came to the game's conclusion, I even felt sad that it was over, as I would have easily kept playing for another 10 hours. Visually it's nothing special, but I found everything about it cute, from the chibi characters to the enemies, although I wish the environments were more colorful, as everything seemed to have the same brown-yellow color palette, which didn't quite fit with the game's overall cuteness. The graphic style is also very simple, but it looks great compared to the original, and reminded me of the Secret of Mana remake. Overall, I like the style of the game as well as the classical remix soundtrack and the cute Japanese dub. It's definitely one of the cutest games I've played recently. In the end, Atelier Marie does show its age and feels very old school despite the changes made to bring it up to date, but depending on your appreciation of the series, you may love it or find it a bit too simplistic. Personally, I enjoyed every moment of it, as I really love the classic Atelier games, although I did find it a bit repetitive at times and really wish it had more areas to explore. It's a very small game in scope if you're used to the more recent Atelier games, but it's just so charming that if you like relaxing management games with heartwarming and light-hearted stories and characters, you'll certainly love it. It's not an epic grand adventure, but it's a sweet window into the very first alchemist's day-to-day life, and I can only recommend it, if at least only to see how it all started.
誰でしたっけ？
俺だよ。武器屋の